Now, from WYDC TV, this is Big Fox News at 10.
An armed standoff between police and protesters happening at the door of the House of Representatives. Thousands of President Trump's supporters surrounding and breaching the U.S. Capitol during a joint session of Congress to count the electoral votes. We'll have the latest on that story coming up tonight. But first tonight, New York getting the first COVID vaccine about a month ago. But since then, the rollout has slowed down. Big Fox's Matt Kleindinst joins us in Corning with how a local health official is evaluating the vaccine distribution.
Good evening. A month after the vaccine's release, the public health director of Steuben County tells me the rollout has not gone to plan.
I'll be honest with you, Matt, it has not gone well.
After a month of the Pfizer vaccine being released, Darlene Smith says the rollout has run into some challenges. Despite numerous requests, the county health department is still without the vaccine.
I have requested it, have not received it. I have, my contacts at the state working on it, but I don't have it.
Even with the county not having the vaccine, local hospitals have been working on distributing shots in accordance with the rollout plan. As of Tuesday, over 900,000 vaccines were given to 2.1 million healthcare workers. Governor Cuomo stated earlier this week that hospitals that did not distribute their vaccine supply would face stiff fines. Darlene Smith says the main reason for the slow rollout was a lack of communication with local health departments, stating that local vaccination plans were not discussed with the state.
Those local plans were not part of the planning process. We haven't gotten good, solid, clear communication from the state on the process itself.
Smith hopes to get the shipment of the vaccine soon and says the county health department will work to quickly deliver the shots.
We will be setting up the clinics to be able to vaccinate.
Matt Kleindinst, Big Fox, WYDC in Corning.
Cases continue to climb in Steuben County after the holidays. As of Tuesday, the county is reporting 300 new COVID cases since it last reported on New Year's Eve. The Steuben County Health Department says some of the cases are linked to large holiday gatherings. The county reintroduced free rapid testing with Corning Community College today to work on catching new cases. The rapid tests will be available to county residents until Friday. In a little over a week, Chemung County officials may have some answers about our orange zone designation. Big Fox News COVID-19 specialist Amanda Decker takes a look at our numbers as we move into another week of restrictions.
Chemung County has been in the orange zone for microclusters for 11 weeks now, although county officials have tried to get that designation overturned a few times. In late December, Chemung County sent a petition to the state asking to remove us from the orange zone restrictions, which have caused major financial shortfalls for dozens of local businesses. According to state data, Chemung County's positivity rate is about 10%. That was yesterday, but the 7-day average positivity rate is about 7%. When you combine that with our hospitalization rate, county officials say we no longer meet the requirements for that orange zone designation. So far, there's no official response to that petition, but a hearing is set to take place January 11th. As county officials wait for that moment, they are focused on vaccine rollout across our area. The New York State Association of Counties gathered on Tuesday to discuss vaccine distribution in each area of New York. Chemung County officials say some hospitals in our area and elsewhere in the state were told they had to use up their vaccines by the week's end or face fines. Those hospitals started vaccinating all of their emergency personnel 75 and older, and that created a lot of chaos at some of these facilities. The overall frustration from county leaders across New York, lack of planning for hospitals and medical staff to administer those COVID-19 vaccine shots. Although Chemung County did receive additional doses of vaccine yesterday, those likely won't be administered for a few days so they can sort out who may have been vaccinated at the hospital out of order. Reporting for Big Fox News, I'm COVID-19 specialist Amanda Decker.
Despite the arrival of the COVID-19 vaccine, the virus still has a major grip on the United States. According to Johns Hopkins University, 3,775 people died from COVID-19 on Tuesday. Now that's more than 24 more than the previous high, which was set less than a week ago. The U.S. rose above 21 million known infections, and at least 131,000 people are hospitalized. As the post-holiday surge continues to spread, some governors are taking action to help get people vaccinated quicker. The CDC says it has seen 29 cases of severe allergic reactions to coronavirus vaccines. A new report looked at the first week and a half of the vaccine rollout when 1.9 million people were inoculated. The CDC says all the severe reactions happened within minutes, but all of the patients it followed up with have recovered. 17 of them have a history of allergies. Officials say people with general allergies should not be concerned, but they may want to consult a healthcare provider before getting their shots. A historic election outcome in Georgia. 2 incumbents defeated in close runoff races as voters will now send 2 Democrats to Washington to represent the Peach State. Daryl Forges has the latest.
I am going to the Senate to work for all of Georgia.
A late-night acceptance speech by the first victor of the night. Reverend Raphael Warnock, the senior pastor of Ebenezer Baptist Church in Atlanta, former home of Martin Luther King Jr., made history Tuesday to become the first black senator from Georgia, beating Republican incumbent Kelly Loeffler.
We were told that we couldn't win this election. But tonight, we proved that with hope, hard work, and the people by our side, anything is possible.
Control of the United States Senate at stake for these dual Senate runoff races in the burgeoning purple state pushed millions to the polls.
We believe that the total vote will probably be pushing 4.6 million. And when you think we had 5 million that just showed up in November, it's just tremendous turnout.
And with a late victory by Democrat Jon Ossoff over GOP incumbent David Perdue, incoming Vice President Kamala Harris will serve as a tie-breaking vote, essentially easing the path of the Biden administration.
This is history unfolding in Georgia right now.
In Atlanta, I'm Daryl Forges.
Police have a suspect in custody who they say tried to make a parked car at a shopping mall look like an explosive. Now he says it wasn't meant to look like a fake bomb and was just an electric car charging. Christina Fahn has that story.
22-year-old Louis Shanker smirked at cameras as he was led out of the 71st precinct in handcuffs. He looked unbothered by accusations that he built a fake bomb, triggering an hours-long scare outside Queens Place Mall Monday. Louis, is there anything you want to say?
Israel, I have no fear. Moshiach will be here this year. The Messiah is coming.
Police believe Shanker abandoned this stolen Tesla with Nevada plates in the mall's parking garage, rigging it with electrical wires and a metal canister. Police evacuated the area, searched the car, and found no explosives, discovering instead a Husky that had been locked inside. Investigators believe Shanker was working with an accomplice who still hasn't been caught. They called the device a hoax, but Shanker, who turned himself in this morning, denied it was meant to look like a bomb. Did you plant it?
It was a Tesla car being charged. You guys are idiots. It was really a car being charged because the battery died. You guys are morons.
Police sources tell us they are familiar with Shanker and that he is not sound of mind. His social media pages indicate he is a far-right activist. He was also arrested a few days ago for lighting posters on fire near Gracie Mansion. Police say the car involved in Monday's scare had a Black Lives Matter sign, raising suspicions the suspect might have purposely placed it there to discredit the movement.
Small protests follow the decision not to file charges in the shooting of Jacob Blake. Tony Atkins reports.
Shut it down! Shut it down! We're going to shut it down! Shut it down! We're going to shut it down!
A night of protesting, the first since Kenosha County District Attorney Michael Gravely decided he wouldn't charge anyone following the shooting of Jacob Blake in August. No charges for Officer Rustin Shesky or Jacob Blake for any potential crimes committed on August 23rd.
You chose to shoot him 7 times in the back, and it's very disrespectful.
19-year-old protester Brandon Wilborn says he began protesting after seeing the George Floyd, Jacob Blake, and other incidents this past summer.
I've been out here 230 days.
Is that when you started protesting?
Yeah.
So you just became a protester this summer?
Yeah.
Why?
I mean, it was just time for a change.
The march wasn't met without challenge as protesters claimed they were being followed by other people they believe were members of militia groups. Here, 2 vehicles zip off after ACLU legal observers tried to note their license plates. They were out-of-state plates from Illinois.
Unwanted guests, and they came down, and it's like everywhere we go, they end up being, and as you guys just saw, like, they're right here watching us.
Activist Portia Bennett Bay says as long as they continue peaceful protesting and pushing to change outcomes like the one they learned today, they shouldn't be followed.
let us be. This is our city, our community. We live here. We have the right to do what we're doing right now, which is protesting. We're not destroying anything. We're not burning anything up. We're literally just protesting. That's it. That's all.
Still ahead tonight, parents at a St. Louis school voicing their concerns after armed resource officers began making house calls to discuss grades with their students.
I was shaking. My voice was cracking. I was emotional because I did not understand. I couldn't keep my eyes off of his firearm.
Hear why some believe this is a scare tactic, while others say it's about resources for students during this time of virtual learning.
Here's your local stock market update from Big Fox. Now, your Twin Tiers forecast from Big Fox.
Tonight's Big Fox forecast is brought to you by William Mattar. Good evening, everyone. I'm meteorologist Kim Walker with your weather update. We did have a little bit of light snow and even some drizzle, freezing drizzle that was mixed in as well, causing some icy conditions on the roadway. So if you have to go out early tomorrow morning, just keep in mind that the roads could be pretty slick. Temperature readings near the freezing mark or below that, and so that's going to keep that layer of ice in place. 31 degrees at around 5 o'clock. It's going to feel like 24 degrees, though. We drop down to around 29 at 6 o'clock, and then right around the 30-degree mark for 7 and 8 o'clock. So again, there will be a layer of ice. You definitely want to bundle up. I don't have to tell you that because it's so cold out there. It's going to feel like the 20s, though, because of a little bit of a breeze. Those breezy conditions will start to pick up a little bit for tomorrow, and this is because high pressure is building in from the west. Low pressure is departing the region, and so we're stuck right in the middle, and so the winds will really pick up, and so that brisk wind will make things feel a little bit chilly, and those clouds won't really allow us to warm up all that much for tomorrow. Our average high is around 31 degrees, and we're going to be at near there in the early afternoon. So it's going to be an average winter day. So if you're planning to work outside, let's take a walk outside on the sidewalk or anything like that, you definitely want to bundle up because, again, our wind chills, or what it feels like to our skin, will be in the lower 20s. We could see a little bit of sunshine late in the afternoon, but then those clouds will fill in again in the evening hours. So there's some good news there. At least we don't have to deal with flurries or any of the snow. And it looks like we'll stay dry. There's going to be a spell or a stretch of dry weather through the weekend, and so this trough just drops southward. The jet stream starts to drop southward over the weekend, and that's going to drain all that cold air from the north right over the region, and so we are expecting it to be quite cold, and at least it's going to be dry, though, and we should see some sunshine, especially over the weekend. It's going to be downright cold tonight. We drop down to 29 degrees in Elmira, in Corning around 25 degrees, 26 for you in Perkinsville. And take a look at our highs, not a big difference. In fact, highs around 35 in Bath as well as in Corning, Watkins Glen around 35. Barely above freezing in Elmira at 33 degrees, but below freezing in Perkinsville at 29. Here's a look at your extended forecast. Increase in clouds on your Friday. Temperatures will be a little bit cooler, below freezing, and then we dive down into the teens on Saturday morning. Plenty of sunshine on Saturday, but we're going to be barely above freezing with a high of 33 degrees.
Now to the latest from Washington. The city is on lockdown after mobs of President Trump's supporters stormed Congress, causing Congress to temporarily halt the certification of the 2020 presidential election. Whitney Wild has the latest.
Pro-President Trump rioters breaching the halls of Congress.
They've essentially overtaken the front of the Capitol. This is an overwhelming number of people for the Capitol Police.
Triggering an armed standoff at the doors of the House floor. Protesters caught on camera taking the seat of the President of the Senate.
We've been hearing flashbangs every few minutes for the last hour.
Protesters have penetrated the Capitol. Tear gas has been deployed. Members now have masks that are in the Capitol.
Vice President Mike Pence rushed out of the Capitol building to safety. The entire House and Senate floors evacuated and lawmakers told to shelter in place.
This is despicable. This is not who we are as a country.
President Trump encouraged the protesters earlier Wednesday.
Right here, we're going to walk down to the Capitol and we're going to cheer on our brave senators and congressmen and women. And we're probably not going to be cheering so much for some of them, because you'll never take back our country with weakness. You have to show strength, and you have to be strong.
And later responded to the breach of the Capitol.
You have to go home now. We have to have peace. We have to have law and order.
I'm Whitney Wild reporting.
May God bless all who serve here and those who protect this place. And may God bless the United States of America. Let's get back to work.
Lawmakers eventually reconvened earlier this evening. They picked up right where they left off, debating on an objection to Arizona's Electoral College vote count. Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell took to the floor for a second opening statement of the day.
We will not be kept out of this chamber by thugs, mobs, or threats. We will not bow to lawlessness or intimidation.
Washington, D.C. police have confirmed a woman is dead after being shot in the chest on Capitol grounds today. More information on the shooting was not immediately available, and a police spokesperson said additional details will come later. Multiple officers have been injured, with at least one transported to the hospital. Smoke grenades were used on the Senate side of the Capitol as police worked to clear the building of rioters. Windows on the west side of the Senate have been broken and hundreds of officers amassed on the first floor of the building. President-elect Joe Biden speaking to Americans amid the chaos at the U.S. Capitol. At a press conference earlier today, the president-elect demanded for this to end.
The world's watching. Like so many other Americans, I am genuinely shocked and saddened that our nation, so long the beacon of light and hope for democracy, has come to such a dark moment.
Tonight, Twitter has said it locked President Donald Trump's account for 12 hours and warned for the first time that it may suspend him permanently. The company says the temporary lock reflects Trump's violation of the social platform's rules. The announcement marks a major escalation by Twitter against Trump's account and responds to calls by civil rights groups for Trump to be banned from the platform. We'll be back with more news from around the nation next. A second round of stimulus payments are on the way. So when will eligible individuals and families receive that money? Mandy Gaither explains in today's Consumer Watch.
The motion to concur is agreed to.
In a sweeping pandemic aid bill passed just before Christmas, Congress approved $600 stimulus payments for each eligible person. The first of those payments started going out on December 29th. You may have seen it pending in your account, but the funds officially became available Monday. The payments will continue to be sent through January 15th. But anyone eligible who isn't automatically sent the money by then will have to claim it on their 2020 tax return, according to the IRS. Paper checks or debit cards will be sent to those who don't already have a bank account on file with the IRS. Checks also began going out last week. People can check the status of both their first and second stimulus payments by using the Internal Revenue Service's Get My Payment Online tool. Some people may not receive the money the same way as in the first round. If you were sent a preloaded debit card last year, the payment will not be added to that card. You'll either receive a new card in the mail or a paper check. For Consumer Watch, I'm Mandy Gaither.
The Mega Millions lottery jackpot just climbed to nearly $500 million. Nobody won the jackpot in Tuesday's drawing, pushing the prize from $447 million to an estimated $490 million. The cash payout is now $372.3 million. It could be the 8th largest jackpot in Mega Millions history, and it's up for grabs in Friday's drawing. Despite the jackpot rolling over, there were some other notable wins. 4 tickets won the game's second prize of at least $1 million. That still sounds pretty nice. All right, car buying throughout the country is revving up again. That's according to General Motors, which released its fourth quarter sales for 2020 on Tuesday. GM is the country's largest automaker and is typically a bellwether for industry trends. Other manufacturers are also expected to report improvements. Buyers deserted the showrooms at the beginning of the pandemic last spring, but GM says its consumer sales have now returned to pre-pandemic levels. The pace of the recovery is a surprise for many experts who did not forecast such a quick comeback. An Ohio man desperate to find a kidney for his wife threw a Hail Mary to try to help. His message crossed state lines, and it worked. Now the love of his life is about to get life-saving surgery. Natalie Clark has that story.
1 year ago, Aaron Thorne stood on a street corner in Hamilton, Ohio, wearing a sign that read, "Need kidney for my wife."
And we just tried it. And within 30 minutes of being out there, here came the news media saying, hey, we want to be a part of this. And here we go.
Aaron's efforts for his wife, Kelly, went viral.
Between the Facebook page and the news media's help, it just exploded.
A woman in Pittsburgh saw their story. After more than a dozen tests, Cheyenne Frappier learned she was a perfect match.
And I was floored. It just brings back so many memories now. I was just amazed. I was just, wow. And this all started by our community.
The news came just in time. Kelly had to have both her kidneys removed in 2020 because of polycystic kidney disease. That led to internal bleeding and congestive heart failure.
I go 3 days a week to dialysis for 3.5 hours. When I'm done, I'm usually exhausted.
Throw in a pandemic and Aaron's health, which includes surviving 5 strokes in 2019. And you can see why they call Cheyenne their hero.
I was very excited, but at the same time, I'm like, oh my gosh, someone is willing to give me a piece of themselves.
The Thorns say this wouldn't be possible without the help of the community.
Because of our community, because someone loved us that doesn't even know us. Look at us. We're blessed.
We want to leave you with a smile tonight. A California group is working to make sure more people hit by hard times have access to healthy food. Find Out Farms has been around for about a year. Homeowners with extra fruit in their yards call the group. Volunteers then come and harvest it. It's later given away at a free monthly fruit stand in a park. Organizations also hand it out to homeless people or deliver it to families that don't have transportation. The goal is to save thousands of pounds of fruit from spoiling on the branch while helping people in need. From our whole team, thank you for joining us tonight. We hope you have a good evening.